Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm in a purple mood today. I even have my purple deck. Okay, the title says it all. I want to discuss warnings about being a professional tarot reader, how you can anticipate a bit of ridicule. This may sound a little bit harsh, and disclaimer, overly honest Anna is going to come out today. I can already tell you that much. But I think it's necessary. I think it's a good thing to share. And I don't see it discussed all that often. And it's a little bit different than, for instance, tips to becoming a professional tarot reader or spiritual worker of any sense. So, here we go. So, a few years ago, I took a one-day astrology workshop. I wasn't enough into their style of teaching to continue. However, they did give some very interesting advice. Everybody who was there was taking notes, including me. Some people were completely new to astrology. Others already know a little bit about it, maybe through tarot like me. I don't know. But their advice was, if you choose to be an astrologer, tarot reader, another profession in this type of field, at some level, you need to accept, preferably beforehand, the misconceptions, negative opinions, and yes, ridicule about being that. So in my case, obviously, a tarot reader, and that's what this video is starting off with. Because let's face it, this is a special profession. And I'd love it if you could share your own experiences in the comments so we can talk about it and even spread awareness. I don't really know why I have this deck. I just like to have it in my hands, I guess. It's just so pretty. So, first of all, anticipate ridicule from people who aren't into spirituality. There's random people who just aren't spiritual. Fine. We all most likely know plenty of those, right? There are some of your friends, family, neighbors. They are not into any form of spirituality. In my case, some of my family knows that I do this. Most of them don't care, don't get involved, don't bat an eye. And some of them are interested in it and, ask questions and want to know more. But let's look at friends who aren't spiritual, because that's a different dynamic. I want to preface all of this by saying, if not believing in anything works for you and that's just how you are wired, I I don't have anything to say about that. That's good. That's great. I mean, I don't have anything to say about that. I don't mean to say that having a spiritual practice is better in any way than to not have one, because people are different, right? And I'm just sharing this from the perspective of, yeah, I'm a professional tarot reader. Okay, let's call them non-spiritual friends. There is ridicule and the noticeable cringe in friends about this profession. Sometimes it happens we may experience that as disrespect, but then again, I tend to take those reactions lightheartedly and don't care, because it's not for them to understand and care about, and it's simply not for them. So, I can handle that. Everyone's at their own cringe level and has their own distinctive cringe, by the way, their own thing that makes them cringe. And I actually think that that's good, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't be themselves. Cringe can be good, as it can indicate that you are doing what it is you want to do. So by all means, be a little cringe in someone's opinion about you. I mean, who cares? Who cares, right? That's what we're trying to say. Everybody has their own interest, and their brain is wired in a certain way, and you understand what you need and what you don't need. Hopefully, there you go. I have so many friends that I believe they are kind of nihilists. I think perhaps that's because we share a love of hardcore punk music. You know, I love all sorts of music, but hardcore punk is a scene that's alive in Amsterdam, or, you know, during my time. And we share a love of that music. And with that, as I said, comes the scene. So it's just the like mindedness that happens in a scene that is very much alive. So many of them are nihilists. And believe it or not, nihilists can be fun. But of course, if someone they know comes out as a spiritual person, a witch, a tarot reader, you know, fill in the blank, that can make things a little weird. However, I didn't necessarily get a lot of reactions. I didn't necessarily get a lot of reactions altogether. Good. People don't care. That's good. But of course, there will be the occasional snarky remark, jokes, teasing going on, obviously. We can't escape that. I think, in a way, as a shadow worker, I think that in a way, I have lost points in some of their eyes as a realistic, respectable person. Because now, doing what I do, I'm no longer realistic. And I get it. I'm so fine with it. I really like the path I'm on. And as I said before, it's for me. The path you're on is for you. So the people that I'm close to, we actually talk about it sometimes, and I really don't mind it when they ask about it. They're just curious. They want to understand what got me to this place, right? They want to understand why I'm into all of this weird stuff. And there still can be this unserious factor about it. Again, can't blame them. And that's also kind of okay and fun. Just don't take things all too seriously with friends. Not everybody has to understand or be into it as well. I can't demand for everyone to take the time to understand this, or even demand that people see the value in this type of work anyway, you know, this path, this searching. So really, it's all fine. So take it lightheartedly for yourself as well. I do have a little worry sometimes that some of my friends have decided that this is total horseshit, basically a waste of time, a ridiculous hobby, and that makes them not like me anymore. Hey, look, if it's that shallow, what can I say? And when it goes in the negative like that, when they do ask questions, it can be out of courtesy, but of course I believe everybody does that to a certain extent. Worse would be checking if my beliefs are legit in their eyes. And worse, checking if I still associate myself with this crap. So there has been some of that in my friend group. The reason it doesn't matter is because actually most of them have been really open and okay about this. Then, of course, when we're talking about non-spiritual friends, there is the oddball who wants a reading from me. So I've noticed some intrigue there. And yeah, there can be questions. As long as it doesn't turn into a full-blown malicious debate, I will engage, even a benign debate. Because I understand that, of course, there are questions, especially if they first know you as that person who does this, and then all of a sudden it's just a little weird. You're the weird one, just saying. Own it. So yeah, some form of ridicule from people who aren't spiritual. That is a part of the profession. And that, I imagine, we could all see coming. So here are some things that I didn't necessarily see coming. When I first started out, yeah, the haters from within the spiritual community, like mean girls. Trust me, they're out there. And not just girls, right? It's like, whatever. But when I think about it, I don't even understand the audacity, you know? And I say haters, and I want you to understand what I mean by that. I mean haters and trolls. Basically, people who have made up their minds about who you are, what it is you do, and they just send hate. Maybe they don't like you for any other reason. There's so many reasons for people to dislike each other. even if it's the most kind, wonderful person you've ever met. I'm just saying. Maybe that reason actually has nothing to do with your spirituality or tarot. Once we're online, that just happens. That's also one of the things that you can take into consideration, because nowadays, being a professional tarot reader, if you're anything like me, a lot of the practice that you share with your people is online. So by haters, I don't mean people who share their opinion, right? Which can, of course, in some cases be negative criticism that I will actually consider. I will sit with it. I will think about it. If it's something deep that I might need to change, whatever. It's negative criticism from people who still want to see you thrive. You can be open about that, right? It's all about the balance, obviously. So I don't include those in when I say haters and trolls. But yeah, there are haters and trolls from within the community, which I understand people might not believe they're there. Don't think it's all lovey-dovey here, because I've come across people who will see you as competition also, who will see any other tarot reader as competition. What else is going on? Like talking behind people's backs in a negative intent, with a negative intent. And then, oh yeah, I've also seen entire blog posts dedicated to solely hating me. Interesting. And those were people who will nitpick every single word out of the creator's mouth, down to the one too many ums. And for instance, in my very first video, surprise, there were many ums, and guess what? There still are. I'm just saying, the list goes on. Let's I'm not trying to expose anybody, but fellow Dutch tarot readers, I know you're out there. Maybe you're watching, I don't know. If you are watching, have you experienced the same thing with a certain large Dutch tarot group online? I don't even know actually if the group still exists, because I just stay away from that negativity and hate. Why would I stick around? It has nothing to do with me, but maybe the fellow Dutch tarot readers will know which community I'm talking about. Anyway, all of this I'm saying is just about accepting that there are plain stupid, unkind people on this planet. And let's not forget, it's also the nature of the internet. We willingly put ourselves out there, and maybe that's a really stupid thing. I'm still debating this. But also, some readers out there feel that there just isn't enough room for the both of you. Not enough space. They want to duel you. They want to see themselves in this old Western movie where you are both cowboys and they try to draw the gun and shoot you before you get to do that to them. The problem here usually is, I don't want to do that to them. Yeah, the feud is completely one-sided, and it's this weird obsessive targeting. What and why? Again, just if this ever happens to you, take it as that has nothing to do with me. And maybe my advice is do what you gotta do to mute them, maybe even just shut them up. Sometimes you just become someone's target. It happens. It happens in daily life, it happens online because it's super easy. So just accept it, see it as something that really doesn't have anything to do with you, as I said, and then just let them fight it out on their own. I imagine it will get boring soon enough. Next, exchanging. This is a tough one. Exchanging readings between two readers. Oh my God, why is there always one who thinks that they're better than the other one? There, I said it. I said it. Okay, backtrack. Not always, obviously. There are plenty of good, kind, smart people out there. It's good. It's just sometimes the competition, you can feel it. Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel that the other person feels that they're edgier, maybe that they're more serious, more esoteric, whatever it is, more love and light, and for some reason then that's better. That's better than whatever you are doing. Let me tell you this, everyone. No judgment, all right? It's fine. We all go through this maybe at some point. But it's okay to prefer your own reading style. That's actually a good thing. That means that you are reading the cards the way that you believe they should be read, and that you are giving the client whatever you believe they need. So, all I'm saying is just respect how someone else does it, and accept also that there is enough space for the both of you, for all of us. No? Thanks for commenting your story underneath the video. I appreciate it so much. I can't wait to read all the stories. We can all spread a little bit more awareness about some of the more complicated aspects of, well, these types of professions. And I do want to end on two important things. One is that I am grateful to have those skeptical friends. I'm a little bit of a skeptic myself. I've talked about it on the channel as well. And I think that, well, first of all, part of my work is to become that a little bit less of a skeptic. It's about believing what I do on different levels, basically. And I talk about that in this video, if you want to check that out. And I feel that friends are best when they don't reflect everything in agreement, because it runs the risk of becoming that echo chamber that everybody's so scared of. And well, I guess rightfully so, because it's good to be challenged, but with love and respect, hopefully, obviously. But the challenge, it keeps you on your feet. It keeps you prepared to answer questions about what it is that you do, etc. If you do that at all. Respect also if you just don't and keep going strong anyway. But it does keep you on top of things. And for me, it makes me check every so often if truly everything that my practice is in alignment with what I want to be, what I want to do, etc. And then second of all, I probably should have said this in the beginning of this video, but here it is anyway. We are human beings and we make mistakes. It's just part of the human experience. We get it. And when we truly grow, that is because we've learned from those mistakes. You can't not make mistakes. Be prepared to do that anyway. It's, again, part of being a human being. Learning from them is something else. That is, in fact, the goal. So it's okay if at some point you participated in some of the things that I've mentioned in this video. It just happens. There's also a difference between, for instance, simply discussing others and judging them. Also, again, we don't have to take everything so serious. Sometimes it's not that deep. You can be a spiritual person and have fun. Just make sure that you turn out well, which means to be a good, kind person. So consider checking out my Patreon, on which I share much more raw material to support my work. I talk about tarot, but mostly magic. Check out the deck I've made. It's been in the background of this video the whole time. Surprise! All is linked in the description. If you've made it this far, because this was another long video, let's play the game and let's have you, oh, here we go. The moon. Include the word moon in your comments to let me know that you've actually made it this far. If you have nothing to say, just comment moon or the moon. Let's all moon each other. And if you do have something to say, for instance, or anything to share your experience or anything about the video, etc., then maybe implement the word moon in your comments, and I will also know that you've made it all the way through this long video. Thank you so much for watching and for sharing and for checking out my other platforms, and I'll see you next time. Bye.